Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. I made a game in a week. Again. I remade a game that I made in a week. In a week. What? This is a video about how I made this game look like this game. Well, it's not really the same game. The original game I made for a weekly game jam 28 about over 100 weeks ago, so about 2 years ago, and I made that one in GameMaker, which is primarily a 2D engine, but I wanted to test out its 3D capabilities. At that point, I was afraid to jump into a 3D engine, and I really wasn't into creating 3D games. Since then, I was inspired by seeing a YouTube video of people using Dreams for the PS4, and I really got inspired by how easy it was to create 3D things. And I realized that most of the games that I make are 2D, but most of the games that I play are 3D. So I decided to remake this game using Unity 3D. So basically, this is what 2 years of learning game development looks like. So let me just walk you through the journey. I started off by getting some simple gameplay mechanics down. I didn't want to overcomplicate things. I wanted to focus just on one simple mechanic, which in this case was shooting. I started with moving the camera around and having a little character move around. Everything is blank. I haven't worked on any graphics yet. The most important thing in a first-person shooter, I think, is a gun. So I started modeling a gun, which was way more complicated than I thought it was. I had to look at a lot of reference photos of guns. I thought because they're like cube shaped that it'd be really, really easy to make, but there are so many little details and nuances to a gun that I never noticed before. But I'm really happy with the way this turned out. Again, I didn't use Blender. I just used Pro Builder, which is a built-in package for Unity to model. Most people use it for creating levels. I use it for everything. So I'm pretty happy with the way that that turned out. After that, I had to put that onto the camera. I had to attach that to the camera and see what that looked like. So after that, I did a little bit of coding and there was no muzzle flash, there was no like bullet, so there was no way of knowing that you were actually shooting. So the shooting was pretty lame. So I added some quick particle effects and a little flash here and there so you could see every time you shoot, plus a little animation, and there we go. We got shooting a box now. Next, I needed to have this take place in a certain location. So, since I was remaking my old game about a goldfish that got flushed down the toilet and now is out for revenge, so I created a quick little tunnel that looked like a sewer. I used the texture from textures.com. Not terribly exciting yet, but I was liking where the tunnel look was going. So I decided to run with it and just go ahead and create a large area for me to walk around in. It's pretty linear. I didn't want to have too many alternate paths, just something small where I could test the game. And then I added some lighting and post-processing and a few tubes, which are basically just cylinders with a metallic material on them. And here we go. Yeah, now it's starting to look like something pretty nice, I think. If I do say so myself. Not that I like to toot my own horn, or do I? So after that, I wanted to add like some zooming in. In the original game, you're looking straight down the barrel of a gun, kind of like Wolfenstein. So I liked that idea and I wanted to see what that might look like. So basically true iron sights. And that ended up looking pretty good. After that, I wanted to add an enemy type character, and I changed those cubes into crates because every video game needs wooden crates. They all do, it's a rule. My enemies started off as basic capsules, as everything tends to, just so I could get the AI working. Then I made a little blood splatter effect in Photoshop, which was pretty simple to do. And voila, we got some bleeding capsules. I also added a neat little hurt effect, so you knew when the enemy was hurting you. The screen would just tint red a little bit, and that gave a nice little hurt effect. After that, I needed to add some enemies. So I went into Pro Builder, and mostly I just stretched capsules. I didn't even model this character, really. If you look closely, It's all just made out of capsules. There was actually no modeling really done in it. So a lot of it I didn't even have to use Pro Builder. I think except for the ears, that was the only thing I actually modeled. But I think the character turned out pretty creepy. I was going for cute, and I got creepy instead. So these characters needed some animation, so I added some nice creepy running animation. I looked at a lot of zombie running animation and I tried to kind of mimic that. And suddenly the game started to get this frantic feel about it, and it started to feel really, 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 really nice. So for the characters dying, I needed something to happen. I didn't want to animate them dying. I really wanted to try some ragdoll physics, which I've never done before, and was surprisingly easy to do and satisfying. But once you have ragdoll physics, of course, you gotta add some explosions so you could get some real ragdolly stuff. So that's exactly what I did. I added some exploding platforms, and voila! I had a few people test play it for me, and they said that the characters were really, really creepy and that they were actually kind of getting scared of them. So I decided I might play that up, and I created a whole level that was just in the dark. So to help you along in that level, I needed a flashlight. So I added this cool flashlight mechanic, which is essentially just a spotlight. I created this circle in Photoshop so that it looks more like a flashlight. And there you go, a simple first-person shooter, before and after. Now, granted, some people do prefer the pixel art look to it. I personally like the pixel art look, but this new 3D look for it, I think, turned out just as good, maybe even better. I'm interested to see where this goes. I really like how fun the shooting mechanic of this is. It really needs some better sound effects and some music or some ambient sound. And I'll see you guys next time.